Hello everyone and welcome back to a year in the TikTok of Jaebae. I was thinking that I was going to try a different topic today, but I really kind of want to get to the end of Jaebae. Like I'm ready to kind of be at the end of Jaebae and we can kind of see where she is now and all of that. So in order to do that though, we need to finish getting through all of her TikToks. This is where we left off and we're going to just go ahead and jump right into the next one.
Fat people aren't the problem. Fat phobia is. If my body makes you uncomfortable, that's on you. Read the caption to learn why.
All right, let's read the caption. Fat people are blamed for everything, but let's talk about what's actually happening. Myth. She says fat people are blamed for everything. She only gives two. Okay, anyway. Myth. Fat people are a burden to society. Truth. Society was built to exclude fat people and then blames us for consequences. This is such a martyr complex narrative. Society wasn't built specifically to exclude fat people. Fat people are, and at the scale that we've seen them, are relatively new. I'm not saying fat people are new. There have been fat people for probably as long as humans have existed, or for the most part anyway. That actually doesn't seem entirely right, but I'm sure, like, even back to ancient Greece, there were fat people. We'll just put it that way. But they were always in the minority. They were not super prevalent. And now that waistlines are expanding and people in general are just gaining weight more, and we have more of the extreme cases of weight gain, like Jaebae, now there's this rub between what a very, much growing minority needs and how that rubs up against how society is structured. But society was never structured to specifically exclude fat people. It was simply a byproduct because it was unnecessary for hundreds of years while all of this infrastructure was being put into place. From inaccessible spaces to systemic discrimination, the problem isn't fat bodies, it's a society unwilling to accommodate them. Except your guys' idea of accommodation is that you shouldn't have to ask for anything and it should be 100% comfortable for you, and that's not always the way accommodations work. It's about kind of meeting in the middle so you're not going to have this flawless comfort that it specifically Jaebae in particular seems to expect. Myth. Fat people are draining resources. The truth. Corporations and systems that overproduce, waste, and exploit resources are the real problem. I'll give her that one. Fat people aren't consuming too much. That's not entirely true. We're scapegoats for issues far something, because that's where it ends. So I do think that corporate waste is a far bigger concern and a far bigger issue than fat people. That's my opinion, and I'm going to stick by that. That being said, I don't think that means that fat people aren't consuming too much. I think fat people still consume too much. But if you're going to put it on a scale between the average fat person and a multinational corporation, the multinational corporation is going to produce more waste. Both can be true.
Debunking fat phobic myths part 2. Myth number 1. Fat people can't have fulfilling intimate relationships. False. Fat people can have fulfilling intimate relationships. Attraction, love, and intimacy aren't defined by size. Fat people experience meaningful emotional, physical, and sexual connections. Proving this harmful stereotype wrong. Myth number 2. Fat people are only desired for fetishization. False. Plenty of fat people experience meaningful relationships built on love, respect, and mutual connection. Stop telling us we just fulfill a fetish. We are more than our bodies. Myth number 3.
Okay, so for the intimate relationships, I agree. I don't think that that's exclusive to thin people. I think fat people can have fulfilling intimate relationships. That's fine. Fat people attraction is only based in fetishization. I agree that that is not 100% the case. If we're gonna present this as an either or situation, like an all or nothing, then no, it's not the all. It's not the nothing either, though. That's kind of my issue with how these are presented. It's presented as all or nothing, black and white, and that's not really the case. Fat people can 100% be in fulfilling relationships that are not based in fetishization. However, I think that the ratio there is more mixed than she wants to admit. I'm not saying that fat people can only be seen for purposes. You guys know what I mean? I can only say that word so many times. But that being said, I think there's a good number of them that, at the very least, relationships probably start out that way. Not always, not saying every time, but I do think that there's probably a good mix in there.
Fat people can't live happy, fulfilling lives. False. Fat people can and do live their best lives, thriving in careers, relationships, and personal growth. Size doesn't limit joy, success, or potential. Myth number 4.
Okay, so here's the thing. Can they lead fulfilling lives? Yes. Can they lead their best life? I'm gonna say no. I'm sorry. I think it depends on how big the person is. We're not talking, you know, I mean, I even myself, I'm uh back up to 195, which I fucking hate, and I am currently working on losing my weight again during this summer and reestablishing good patterns and setting myself up for better success over the course of my first like full-time teaching position next year. I want to really be in a position where I'm not going to be gaining weight again, and I would ideally like to lose, but at the very least maintain any weight loss I have over this summer. I'd like to carry that through the next school year, preferably losing weight too, but even if I could only maintain, at least that's some maintenance and I can work on losing weight again next summer. And even I have noticed limitations on my body because of this excess weight. And I'm not even like I'm at the border of obesity. I'm not in morbidly obese. I'm not even deep in obesity territory. I'm like right at the border. And I feel it. So, I'm sorry, I don't think that obese and the morbidly obese can live their best lives. I'm not saying they can't lead a fulfilling life, but I think that there are more limitations from their weight than she wants to admit. And yes, it does impact opportunities. It impacts your general energy battery. It impacts a lot more than I think she's willing to look at.
There's nothing beautiful about fat people. False. Beauty is subjective. And fat people have their own unique, undeniable beauty. Beauty isn't defined by size. And diverse bodies reflect the true variety of human experience. Myth number 5. Fat people don't care about their appearance if they don't engage in hyperfeminine practices like doing their hair and makeup every day. False. Fat people can still care about their appearance without adhering to restrictive beauty standards. Comfort and self-expression should be respected, no matter a person's size. There are a lot of misconceptions about fat people, and it's time to challenge them. In this series, I'll be sharing the realities of fat bodies, health, and humanity. To help break
All right, we're going to move on.
Come with me to establish care with a new provider in my hometown, Kennewick, Washington. If you're plus size, seeing a new provider can come with a lot of anxiety and worry. As you can see, I was anxious. There are a few things I do to prepare for seeing a new provider as a plus size individual. First, I make a list of my health concerns and goals for the appointment so I can keep the conversation on track. I put these in my notes app on my phone. At the start of the visit, I set boundaries by saying something like, I have certain issues I'd like to focus on, and I'd like to not discuss weight or weight loss. If the topic comes up, I redirect by asking for weight-neutral treatments or evidence-based solutions for my symptoms. In my notes app, I will also write affirmations like my body deserves respect no matter its size to remind myself I'm in control of the appointment. Sometimes I'll bring a trusted friend for support or take notes to stay focused. I'm going to address in another video what I do if I feel disrespected or dismissed. It's taken me a long time to learn to advocate for myself, and now I want to share with you what I've learned. Honestly, to my surprise, this doctor's appointment was one of the best I've ever had in my entire life. I felt so seen, heard, and understood. Honestly, advocating for yourself is where it's at.
So I actually don't have a problem with this. I think that we all kind of need to learn a little bit how to advocate for ourselves in any number of contexts. I do think the only thing, and this is kind of unrelated to the subject of this, but I'm like, girl, don't say where you live. Like, Kennewick, don't get me wrong, Kennewick isn't necessarily like a small town or anything, but it's not like Seattle either. I don't think it'd be terribly hard to find her. Granted, I think she's in a mental hospital right now, but just saying, Kennewick isn't tiny, but it's not like a metropolis either. Like she could probably be fairly easily found. I don't understand. And this is the thing that I've noticed with Gen Z and now upcoming Gen Alpha is that there is no sense of self-preservation in terms of their information. They just share shit. Don't do that. If you are under the age of 30 and you are used to just putting out whatever information you want online, don't fucking do that. I mean, don't do that if you're over 30 either, but I think anyone that grew up in the 90s with internet safety education being kind of drilled into us, we know to not do this. Not everyone, because some people are just like, well, I don't fucking care, and they're gonna put a bunch of shit out. Fucking Fat Sapphic Bro did that for a while, and he's older than I am, or they're older than I am. But yeah, just I don't think that's a good idea.
This is what I woke up to yesterday.
Okay, so oh my, I don't know if I can read this. I'm gonna be heavily censoring this. You should truly unalive yourself. If you won't commit unaliving, then I will help you make it my life's mission to end you and your effing slur genes. Don't worry, one day I will see you out Kennewick, and that will be the last time you ever see anyone again. See, again, this is why you don't put where you fucking live. No more of your shit videos and fat acceptance videos on the internet. I hate you and will make sure it happens. God damn, this is like, I'm not doubting that this happens. Weird shit happens all the time. I had this one guy, this is not anywhere close to this. Just to be clear, it's not anywhere close to this, but I think I've told you guys about the hiccup fetish guy from my Let's Play days. Like, people are fucking weird. If you don't want blank to happen, however, I suggest taking down your shitty videos and petition about your privilege to be 700 pounds and getting free shit because you cannot control what goes into, I'm guessing, your mouth. Don't do this. This is not the answer. This just makes you look like a fucking psycho. Dear Lord, why the fuck are you doing this? Like, what is. Why? I will never understand people that, like, threaten others with violence to get them to do what you want. Like, I criticize fat acceptance, but I will never, under any circumstances, threaten the safety of one of the people that I cover. This is fucking bonkers.
This isn't the first time I've received threats for being vocal about fat acceptance and fighting for fat rights. As someone who's faced violence, had my life threatened before, and lives with PTSD, this cuts deep. But let me be clear, I will not be silenced. Hate wins when it silences us, but I refuse to let that happen. Not to me, and not to anyone fighting for change. This is what I woke up to yesterday.
Yeah, this is just. Jaebae has my sympathy for this, even if it was just this one person and, like, she's never had any other, like, this one is too many for this level of aggression and threatening behavior.
It's weird that people are more worried about a multi-billion-dollar corporation's profits than the well-being of their fellow citizens. Like, make it make sense?
The biggest straw man of straw man arguments, I swear to fuck, No, we're not worried about a corporation's profits, sweetheart. It's the general sense. It's like she doesn't understand the general sense of injustice that most people tend to feel around you getting a several $100 seat for free because you're fat.
I hear this all the time, and it's so weird. Society has ingrained it into people to hate fat people and praise corporations that take our money. And that's sad. Airlines
This is so condescending, it's actually pissing me off.
shove us into tiny seats, cramped, uncomfortable, and treated like nothing more than a number. Why is it okay for companies to treat us like this? People
They're providing a service. And most people don't have huge issues with the seats. I mean, is it less room than anyone would like? Yes. But it's about a service. The goal is to get from point A to point B. It's not as many people are as concerned with comfort as you are. A lot of people, myself included, tend to be like, does this fulfill the objective that I'm trying to achieve? And if it does, then comfort is kind of secondary. And I'm not saying that that's how everyone feels, but I think especially in terms of travel, it's a matter of getting something done, not necessarily enjoying the experience.
defend corporate greed. Airlines care more about profit than about the basic comfort and dignity of their passengers. Humans deserve comfort and respect. We are not just bodies and seats. We are people with needs, dignity, and rights. Stop defending systems that harm real people for the sake of making more money. Humans are more important than any corporation's bottom line. Stop
Defending corporations, start defending people. Here's the thing, though, is that part of your predicament is self-inflicted, and I think that that's where people struggle, because you're saying it's an injustice despite the fact that you are the one that kind of caused your situation. Meanwhile, someone that is taller, someone that has a disability and just in general needs more room, still have to pay more for certain seats in order to get what they need, and they do it without complaint. Meanwhile, you eat yourself to this point. Eat yourself to struggling mobility. Eat yourself to not being able to fit into the seat, and then you get rewarded with an extra seat. That's kind of where people this straw man argument of that we're protecting corporations' profits. Very few people give a fuck about that. All right, companies aren't high on a lot of Americans, loyalty list. They're not as low as health insurance companies, but they're not exactly high either. They're hardly Ben and Jerry's or fucking Arizona tea, for fuck's sake. Part of the frustration isn't about protecting companies. It's not. I would say even most of the frustration isn't about protecting companies. It's about this sense of fairness, that you are trying to say something is fair to you when to everyone else it doesn't seem fair.
What if fat bodies were the default and then bodies were considered the other? Airplane bathrooms are too small for fat people. Imagine if plane seats were too big for thin people. Society tells us what's worthy and acceptable. Stores only stock thin mannequins. What if stores had to make room for fat mannequins and adjust all their displays? They say fat people should hide their bodies, but what if we refused? What if we celebrated them instead? What if all products were designed with fat bodies in mind? What if fashion actually fit every body? What if we stopped treating fat bodies like they're not welcome? What if we walked through life without hiding or shrinking? What if doctors focused on our health, not just our size? What if every body was celebrated equally? What if joy wasn't reserved for a specific body type? What if fat accessibility was the standard, not the exception? What if products were designed for every body not just the ideal one? What if we stopped shaming bodies and started embracing them? What if we could just exist freely in the body we have? What if all bodies were respected? What if we stopped telling people their bodies are wrong? Imagine if we all just walked through life unapologetically, ourselves.
Okay, so this is just not how things work. And the idea of what if seats were too big for thin people, then they would be expected to find some way to accommodate that, or something would be generated to help accommodate that. Just as for you, paying either for an extra seat and or getting a seatbelt extender is your way of accommodating for your size. Accommodations happen across the board, and this idea of, what if products were designed with everybody in mind? That's fucking impossible, and I don't know how to communicate this. It's not possible. I have recently been looking in updating my skincare, right? I have extremely sensitive and eczema prone skin. My skin is insanely sensitive. It is very hard to find products that work for me. I would love to be able to use like a Neutrogena or Aveeno or even Cetaphil. I've tried Cetaphil. I like their cleanser. They're fine. But their moisturizer either makes me break out or makes my eyelids swell, or I break out in a rash. The only um moisturizer I have ever found that does not cause an allergic reaction of some sort on my skin is $50 fucking dollars. All right, does that suck for me? Yes, because the cheaper brands aren't accessible to me. Do I expect that to change to suit my skin? No, because I recognize that I am the outlier. I recognize that I'm the outlier. It is what it is. It sucks. I'm not gonna lie. It fucking sucks. It's annoying. And then on top of that, I've also been looking because my hair needs some TLC, and I've been looking into different hair oils, but I don't get ones with fragrance because I'm afraid that it's going to touch my skin and I'm going to have an allergic reaction, because fragrance is a big trigger for the eczema portion of my skin, or the eczema reactivity type of my skin. So, but finding a fragrance-free hair oil is very difficult. And one that said it was good for the hair and stuff, but was fragrance-free, everyone said it smelled like goats. So, like like you have only so many options. And would I like something that doesn't reek and that I can use? Yes, but it's not always possible because I am in a unique position. We all have, and I will say this over and over again, we all have things that we have to accommodate for the world around us, because the world around us doesn't recognize that we need this. So therefore, we need to advocate for the accommodations or build the accommodations in ourselves. I have a less big issue, but it can be a somewhat big issue, because depending on where we are, like I have to tell the kids, don't spray in my classroom, don't spray your body spray. Don't, I'm allergic to it. I don't want to break out in hives. And that's a rule that has to be in my classroom. And yes, some of the kids hate me for it. It is what it is. But it's what has to happen. And does it suck that I have to hold the line so hard on something that otherwise I would not give two shits about? Yes. But it's nonetheless something that has to be done. You don't even realize the blessing that you have, that what you have to accommodate for is fixable by you. No amount of me doing anything will change the sensitivity of my skin. Nothing. I can try every product under the sun. I can try mountains of different ways to accommodate this. The only thing that seems to work is avoidance of high fragrance areas and products that irritate my skin. That's my accommodation for myself. I don't know. I don't even know where I'm going with this anymore. I just think that it's such a self-serving, self-absorbed take of like, shouldn't it be designed for every body? That's impossible. I don't even know how to say that any more clearly. It's impossible because there's too many variables.
The average woman in the U.S. is a size 16/18, according to the CDC. But let me tell you something that's going to blow your mind. Airplane seats, the ones we're all crammed into, they're realistically designed to fit someone who's a size 6 to 8 comfortably. That's based on seat widths of 17 to 18 inches and clothing size charts. So let me ask you this.
So you've cobbled this together yourself. A couple of you have mentioned how you guys aren't like small people, but have been able to fit into an airplane seat just fine. I'm curious at her definition of comfort, because I don't know, I'd love to hear your opinions on this. We're gonna listen to the rest of this, but I really do want to hear your opinions.
The seats aren't built for plus-size people, and they aren't built for the average person. Who are they even working for? And here's what's wild. Most of you know these. Seats are too small. You've thought it yourself. And when a thin person says it, you nod along like, yeah, they're awful. The second a fat person says it though, suddenly
I've not heard anyone complain, except for the fat acceptance movement. I've not heard anyone complain about the size of airplane seats.
it's entitlement. And let's be real, that's not about the seats. That's about you. The truth is, you hate the idea of a fat person speaking up for themselves. It makes you uncomfortable, because it forces you to confront your own biases. Instead of holding airlines accountable for designing seats that maximize profit at the expense of passenger comfort and dignity, you'd rather attack the person pointing out the problem. And let's call this what it is. It's not entitlement. It's demanding basic respect and dignity for all people, no matter their size. So stop defending corporations that don't care about any of us, and start thinking about why this conversation makes you so uncomfortable. Because at the
It's not always that the conversation makes people uncomfortable, it's that they simply disagree with you. And no one, I think the big thing that is kind of pissing people off is this idea that they are protecting corporations and their profits, when that is no one's real goal when talking to you about anything. The big things that I've heard is that it's based in a sense of fairness. You take up more space, you should have to pay for it. That's the big thing.
end of the day, we all deserve to fly with respect and dignity, whether you like it or not. The average woman
And this 16, 18, like, honestly, they love to say 16, 18. Granted, I'm a size 14. I'm a size 14, but I have not had any real issues anywhere. So, propping up the 16, 18 as like this big thing where people aren't accommodating them, most people, I think, at that weight, at that size, don't have that many struggles in terms of general public areas. Jaebae, you are not a size 16, 18. Not even close. So to align yourselves with the 16, 18 as the average woman and say, see, it's not made, see, it's meant for size 6 to 8, when they don't have the struggles that you are claiming is so universal for all fat people, that part is part of the rub there. It's that you're advocating for a much smaller population than you say you are. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to be cruel, but you don't get to the size of Jaebae through genetics. Jaebae is the size she is because she eats too much.
It's that time of year again when the diet industry starts pushing those new year, new you promises. Let me tell you something. You don't need to change a damn thing. I'm not here for any of that. No, I won't be joining. Your New Year's resolution diet plan. I'm all about embracing food, freedom, and that includes eating whatever The heck I want. The diet industry wants you to believe you need to change your body to have a great year. Well, guess what? You're already great, and so is your body. I don't need to punish myself with restrictive diets or guilt over enjoying.
See, she keeps bringing it back to restrictive diets and guilt and punishment. And it's like having a moderate restriction is not a punishment. Hell, like, so I've been working with ChatGPT to kind of help me with the weight loss plan, right? It gives me daily goals, which works for me. I need someone to outline like what the goal is for the day, or I forget about it and then I'm really bad about logging food. So having someone to kind of report into helps me, right? And with that, I've learned that I can get through a day at 1,300 calories and be okay. Now, granted, because I want to maintain a certain level of muscle, my protein doesn't always meet where I need it to be. So ChatGPT is like, no, you need to have like a protein bar or something. So I do, which will typically take me up to 1,500, 15 to 1,600. And but that's still considering that I was a person that was eating 21 to 2,300 calories a day, and I've been able to dial back to like no more than 1,700 most days. And that's not something that I was typically able to do on my own. And at the same time, I haven't been starving, has shown me just how much my intake has been psychological. That's something big for me. So it's not about punishment. It's not about restriction for the sake of restriction. You don't need nearly as much food as you think you do. Like, so much of the gravitating towards snacks and sweets and stuff is psychological, it's cravings. And then when you start to pull away from those and you don't eat it and you don't engage with that and you're not eating every couple of hours, which only makes you hungry every couple of hours, you start to be like, oh wow, I didn't realize how much of my day I was eating. It's a freeing concept. Like, eat a healthy amount of calories for your height and weight and activity level. You'd be surprised at what that healthy calorie amount actually is, you know?
Food. Food doesn't have a moral value. So let's ditch the diet culture and celebrate ourselves instead.
Food doesn't have a moral value, but it does have an impact on your body. And eating fewer simple carbohydrates, eating less sugar, has helped me exponentially. And I want to be clear, it's not that I don't eat like no sugar. I eat sugar. I still eat sugar. I've been trying to transition more to natural sugars and fruits and that sort of thing, but I still have a couple of snacks throughout the week. Like, I was eating something like really sugary sweet every day. Now I'm down to it's still like 4 days a week, but for me that's pretty big. That's going from every day down to 4 days is big for me. And my last cheat day, I realized I was satisfied with far less in terms of sugar than I was previously. So there's something to be said about really kind of analyzing your relationship with food.
We don't need to change to enjoy life. We're already living it to the fullest. No resolutions, just real, unapologetic joy, because this year we're choosing food.
Why is joy so tied to food for her, though? That's the thing. Why is joy so tied to food? Since I haven't been eating much, I've had more joy because I've been working on art stuff and sewing and reading and playing new video games and shit. Sometimes putting down the fork opens up for more joy, just different joy.
Freedom? Freedom from the lies, the guilt, and the toxic diet culture. We're here for the good food, the good vibes, and all the happiness we can get. You're perfect just as you are, and that's worth celebrating every damn day. It's
Sorry, I know there's a couple comments that we have to, to comment on. That's right, don't let anyone trick you into being healthy. And let's see what some of the responses
Again,
are.
when the diet industry starts
This is pissing me off. People laughing. Okay. And then another one says, yes, Queen, here for a good time, not a long time. And then someone says, especially not her. Another person says, eating food all day shouldn't count as having a good time. I mean, I agree, but neither should, drug use. And when people say I'm here for a good time, not a long time, that can also be what they're referring to. High risk behaviors. None of that is necessarily good for you, but when people say I'm here for a good time, not a long time, it's usually tied to either some highly dangerous or highly self destructive behavior. And if that's their choice, that's their choice. One person says, same here over here, I'm not obese or unhealthy, I'm just tired of life. So we're gonna leave that there and we're gonna watch. I think we have enough time for 2 to 3 more.
2025 is here, and I'm stepping into it with purpose and fire. This year isn't just about growth, it's about creating a movement. Here's what I have going on right now. I'm raising funds to fuel change. Your support helps fight for fat liberation and body justice. You can check out my GoFundMe at the link in my bio. Every single dollar helps. And if you can't donate, a share means just as much. This year, I'm pushing for policies like the Fat Accessibility Act and the Fat Equality Bill of Rights. Everyone deserves dignity access. And don't forget about the Body Equality and Travel petition. It's time to break down barriers in travel, healthcare, and beyond. Discrimination has no place in our world. This year, I'm building community right here in my hometown, uplifting local businesses and putting the Tri-Cities on the map. Check out Hometown Rising and Made in the Tri. When we show up authentically, unapologetically, and boldly, we inspire others to do the exact same. This year, my number one goal is to inspire and help as many people as I possibly can. And if you haven't been on my website lately, you should definitely check it out because it's packed with new resources for fat liberation and body justice, blogs that share personal stories and actionable tips, and ways to get involved and make a difference in the world. And there's more to come. 2025 is about action. Let's take up space, demand respect, and build the future we deserve.
So that's not how her year has gone. We know what's gone on with her year. We're gonna look a little bit more into that once we're at the end of this. Uh, but um, I do find it interesting that she had a GoFundMe to essentially pay for her to be an influencer like this, pretty much. That's what I got from that GoFundMe. We're gonna check out all of her links and shit at the end of this series. Jaebae has really turned into a special coverage situation. Because damn, does she have a lot going on, and damn, is should does she like have some issues? But we're gonna do 1 or 2 more.
I'm dedicating 2025 to fighting for the Fat Equality Bill of Rights, and I want you to be part of this revolution. Every day, fat individuals face barriers that nobody should have to live with. Whether it's being turned away from a doctor's office, not fitting into seats on public transportation, or being unfairly judged in the workplace. These aren't just inconveniences, they're human rights violations. The fact
There are hardly human rights violations. I'm sorry, no. And the being turned away from a doctor's office, that's situational. If you're turned away from a doctor's office simply because they do not have the equipment to adequately evaluate you or treat you, it's like you can go in, but they're not going to be able to help you. They're not going to be able to get accurate measurements, which pisses you off anyway. So I don't think that that's a human rights violation. I don't think that not being able to fit into a standardized seat for public transportation is a human rights violation. It's not. I'm sorry, but it's not.
Equality Bill of Rights is a critical step towards changing all of that. It's a set of protections designed to ensure fat people are treated with the same respect, dignity, and access to basic rights as everybody else. And it's time to make this a reality. Just like the civil rights movements that have reshaped history, we're fighting for a world where fat people are treated with fairness, not just
Holy shit, she's comparing herself to the civil rights movement? Are you fucking serious?
tolerance. This is about the right to exist without fear of discrimination, exclusion, or ridicule. It's a civil rights issue, and it's time for change. And here's what the Fat Equality Bill of Rights could change for you. This bill will protect fat individuals in every area of life, from healthcare to employment, transportation to education. Imagine walking into a doctor's office and not fearing weight bias. Imagine sitting on a plane without embarrassment, or shopping in a store that actually carries your size. These are the changes we're fighting for. The Fat Equality Bill of Rights isn't just a piece of paper. It's a movement that will reshape how society views, treats, and accommodates fat people. It will make the world more accessible, fair, and inclusive for all of us. But I can't do this alone. 2025 will be my year of fighting for body justice, and I'm bringing all of you with me. I'm committing to this fight because I believe in a world where fat people are equal and accessible isn't just possible, it's necessary. So let's make it happen. Sign the petition, share your stories, and let's push for the Fat Equality Bill of Rights to become a law, because your body deserves justice. We deserve justice. So join me. Head to change.org/fatequality and let's make 2025 the year we change everything for everybody.
It's so self-serving. I'm sorry, it is. It's nothing more than self-serving, and it looks like we have. I'm hoping we'll be able to get through that. Let's see, we stopped here and we went through only about 2 lines worth of videos. So even if we did that, it would be like another 2 videos. God damn, it's taking so long. Probably because I talk too much. Anyway, like, it's so self-serving, and this whole idea of like fighting for the rights to find your size, your clothing size in a brick and mortar store, that's not like a civil rights issue. Like, it's just mind-boggling. It really is. And it's just kind of insane what she feels entitled to, you know? But I'm afraid we have to end it here for today. Let me know what you thought about all of Jaebae's claims and her fight for equality. I'm really curious to hear it. I've been on summer vacation for about a week and I've been having a good time, and I started the Evolve Artist series. Um, and it's a little scary, but I was able to submit my first bit of homework and I got good feedback, and I'm going to be moving on to the next one tomorrow. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm just kind of getting back into the swing of things in terms of creativity, you know? So I don't have much to add right now, except remember to check out my Substack come July 1st. And with that, I think I'm going to have to end it here. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time.